Hello, Frank.
Well, hello.
It's good to have you back in France.
Thank you. It's really great to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, you're here for a few days
Yeah.
to teach us quantum entrainment,
Mm-hmm.
QE.
QE.
Can you tell us what is QE? What is quantum entrainment?
Yeah. QE is a very simple, very natural way of seeing the world that opens it to us. And when that happens, healing takes place. I know that sounds a little crazy, but it's a very beautiful way to add something to our lives, and which then creates some quietness, some stability inside, and then it spreads outside. And in fact, the people around us will actually heal. They'll find their physical pains or their emotional concerns just getting better when we do QE.
I hear you talk about healing, so that's why you named this first book The Secret of Instant Healing?
Yes. Of course, healing is actually a side effect. It's actually something that happens when we feel very good inside. Obviously, when we're stressed or when we're preoccupied, there's a discordancy, a disconnection between our minds, our bodies, and the environment. QE allows us to immediately connect on all levels. And so healing takes place. Now, I put emphasis on the healing because that's the thing that's most evident. When someone does QE, they heal, and they're able to allow others to heal. But what's happened is they've taken their perception from stress and strain and allowed it to experience the joy and peace that's inside, and they've done it instantly. And as soon as they've done that, they begin to heal instantly. So that's why I call it the secret of instant healing.
In French, the title of the book is only the quantum healing, not, they don't mention instant.
We could just say that the title of the book in French is Quantum Healing. Now, the name of the technique that is quantum entrainment. So quantum healing really applies to any kind of refined healing process. But the specific technique that I discovered is called quantum entrainment, and it's good not to get the two confused, because anyone can be teaching anything called quantum healing.
In France, we know very well quantum physics, quantum mechanics, but what pushed you to choose this term, quantum entrainment or quantum healing?
Yeah. It's a big scientific sounding name, but actually the principle is so simple that anyone can do it immediately. You already, if you're just watching, and listening to what we're saying here, you have everything you need to do quantum entrainment. Quantum, of course, the quantum mechanics deals with very tiny particles and forces. And so when we do this quantum entrainment, we're actually eliciting movement on a very, very quiet or refined level of creation. And entrainment simply means bringing into phase with, or coordinating with, I guess is a good way to say that. That's a very general definition, but it works for this term. Different branches of science will have different applications for that term entrainment. But basically, when I do quantum entrainment, I experience a very harmonious, peaceful, healing state. And because you're a human being and you may need some healing, and most of us do, then you entrain, you fall into phase with or become one with that healing essence, and you heal automatically.
I understand now why you chose those terms, why you coined those terms. How did you discover QE?
I had worked very, very hard for many years trying to become self-aware, something you might, in the East that they call enlightenment. I wanted to be at peace. I wanted to be free from suffering. And so I spent many years, 35, 40 years, in the practice of esoteric studies and techniques. And then when I was about 61 years old, my health was not good, my finances were terrible, and I lost my job. And so I was worried about money and really surviving, and I thought, after all of these years of esoteric studies, of putting myself into spiritual studies, I'm worried about money at my age? And so I started throwing everything in my life out that I knew didn't work. Well, I sat on my couch for 3 days throwing out, oh, I know that don't work, that doesn't work, I tried that before. And at the end of 3 days, and I had the time, believe me, I didn't have a job, so I could sit around. At the end of that time, I said, oh, actually nothing works. And I started to get depressed, but then when there was nothing bothering me, when I wasn't trying to get this or that, I found peace come. And there was a great peace. And all of a sudden, my anxiety about getting money, that disappeared. And then I got it. Before I said, oh, nothing works. And then I realized, nothing works. And so the whole QE technique is designed on doing less and less and less until we do nothing. And that's when the healing comes.
Nothing works.
Yeah.
And nothing works.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. You say that you were looking for enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
Can you define us what it would be, enlightenment, or what it means? Do you mean it's something about, self-actualization, something like that?
Yes. In fact, if you ask 10 gurus or 10 different people, what is enlightenment? They'll give you 10 different answers. Okay, I'm very, very clear on what it means, enlightenment or illumination, self-awareness. And I draw heavily from Abraham Maslow's work. And he was a psychologist who studied healthy people. And he identified basically people who were deficiency-oriented, or basically they had needs, they were suffering, they needed to fill some emptiness. And then he found a small percentage of the population, less than 1%, that were already alive. They felt fulfilled. They were what he called self-actualized, which translates to enlightenment. And when we do QE, it turns out that we have those very same experiences as Maslow's enlightened individuals. So we have found, without effort, a technique to take us from feeling like we have something to take, we need to get it so that we feel full, to feeling that fullness and allowing it to come out and to give it.
What is Eufeeling?
Eufeeling is indeed the core. It is the hub around which all, not only quantum entrainment, but all of life revolves. And when we become aware of Eufeeling, we find spontaneously within us a healing essence. It's really our essence as a human being. It's when everything gets removed and just we are left, just the pure us is left. That's Eufeeling. And we can get there so simply and so easily. This is really the beauty of quantum entrainment. I discovered a way to experience this deep state of healing, joy, peace, love, and it only takes seconds because everyone has it built into them. You don't need any special training. You don't have to have any special talents. You don't even have to believe in it for it to work. It's a very simple 3-step scientific process. When you do that, you experience Eufeeling. When you experience Eufeeling, automatically, when you experience it, you're perceiving it. so that automatically there are changes in your body and your mind. And here's what I mean. When you perceive something, everything is automatic and goes to work. For instance, if you were to perceive something that is harsh, for instance, you hear a car screech and you see a dog get hit by the car, okay? Right away, your body goes into fight or flight, you know, your eyes dilate, adrenaline gets pumping, and the cardiac output starts increasing. And in your mind, it becomes agitated. It's a very negative experience. You perceive it, and those changes take place automatically. Now you perceive a beautiful sunset, you know. Automatically, your body becomes very restful, and your mind becomes peaceful. You didn't have to do anything. Now, when you perceive Eufeeling, automatically, without effort, you become healing, a healing entity. You become peaceful, harmonious, loving, joyful. Now, after you've done that for a while, you become aware of Eufeeling. There's a more refined aspect of Eufeeling. That when we become aware of that, we call that Eustillness. And Eustillness then leads us towards that very beautiful state, but misunderstood state we call self-awareness or enlightenment.
Now I understand why you introduce yourself as a man with a mission. Mission to teach QE to the world.
Yes, yes. In fact, it is my desire that everyone in the world who wants to learn QE, and so I make it available. I mean, you can even learn it by reading a book. Even if the book is translated from its mother language in English to any other language, you can still read the book and learn how to do it. It's that natural. But I would like, you know, the entire world to have that opportunity, and I travel basically around the world a couple of times a year, teaching in various areas. Yeah, and it's a joy. I have to say, it's very selfish. I love teaching. It just feels good to meet these people. Watch people come in with no idea about how to allow themselves to unfold and heal and help others to heal, and they come in to the workshop. And 2 days later, they walk out. They don't need me anymore. They already know how, in fact, to do this healing.
They have been able to perceive the Eufeeling thanks to QE, which is the technique to do it.
You know, it's so simple and so natural for human beings to do it. We've just lost it. It's just been, we get so tied up in other things that I believe that, you know, many, many years ago, generations and generations, perhaps thousands of years ago, we did this naturally, but we've lost it. And so it's just to make my point about how natural it is, when you take the workshop, before lunch on the first day, you are creating a healing event in a perfect stranger, just because you can, just because it's there and ready for you.
Thank you, Frank, for coming to share that with us in France. And see you soon again.
It would be absolutely my pleasure, and thank you so much for inviting me.